Okay, this is huge. The X-Men 97 Season 2 trailer just dropped at New York Comic Con this past weekend. Well, one of them leaked online, and it's packed with brand new footage, Easter eggs, and wild connections to the next big comic eras. And honestly, this one's way deeper than most people realize. Let's break down everything from the 90s throwbacks to the Apocalypse arc to those massive reveals that could shape the future of X-Men 97. So, first up, they officially confirmed that X-Men 97 Season 2 will be released in summer 2026. Now, based on Marvel's usual timing, that basically means June, or maybe mid to late June depending if there's delays or not. But here's the even bigger headline. The show isn't slowing down anytime soon. They've already renewed it for Season 3 and are currently working on it, and the creators even mentioned plans for Season 4 and 5. Yeah, it sounds like Marvel is in this for the long haul. If all goes according to plan, we're getting at least 5 seasons of this revival. And trust me, the trailer doesn't just tease what's next, it straight up confirms that this revival is diving deep into the wildest era of the X-Men comics. Right from the start, the trailer mirrors the classic Season 1 style, and it's a full-on nostalgic trip. We open inside what looks like a real 90s bedroom. There's a chunky CRT TV, a VCR, and stacks of X-Men VHS tapes playing. It's designed to feel like you're literally watching the original episodes back in the day, because yeah, those were released on VHS before DVDs even became a thing. Let me know in the comments if you actually own those tapes. They're still floating around on eBay, though you'll probably pay a collector's price now. And the attention to detail, next level. You can even spot some old school merch around the TV, including an original action figure from the 90s animated line, which you can still find online today. Pricey but iconic. And that photo on the side of the TV, yep, it's the picture from the famous Wolverine meme, the one from the original animated series episode that became internet legend. So many fans know the meme but not the actual scene. Even Hugh Jackman got in on it. He created the meme during the Deadpool and Wolverine promos. It didn't make it into the movie, but it was a perfect nod to the fans. And just when you think it's all 90s nostalgia, that's when the trailer flips the switch and drops us right back into the chaos of Apocalypse. The screen cuts to static and you hear that classic previously on X-Men, this time narrated by Wolverine himself. They kept that trope from the original show alive in X-Men 97, and I'm so glad they did. Then we hear the sound of a VHS tape sliding in and the old Apocalypse arc flashes across the screen because yep, Apocalypse is the main villain of Season 2. In the comics, his entire philosophy revolves around the survival of the fittest, mutant supremacy taken to the extreme. If you thought Magneto was intense, Apocalypse makes him look soft. Magneto wants to protect all mutants. Apocalypse, he only wants the strongest to survive, even if that means wiping out the weak. That's why his name fits so perfectly. He's literally the Apocalypse for mutants and humans alike. And that time travel thread from the end of Season 1, with Cyclops and Jean Grey getting trapped in the distant future, that's all connected. What they're seeing out there is basically the world if Apocalypse wins. But the emotional core of all this, Gambit. The ending of Season 1 hinted at it, and the trailer all but confirms it. Apocalypse is bringing Gambit back as the Horseman of Death, just like in the comics. So yeah, Gambit's resurrection is going to hit hard, but that's not the only storyline they're pulling from. They're also clearly adapting the Blood of Apocalypse storyline, where Apocalypse uses his own blood to manipulate and elevate mutants, when he calls modern mutants his children. That's not just ego, it's literal. Depending on which comics you've read, Apocalypse is considered the first mutant and his DNA runs through generations. Think of it like a Genghis Khan situation. His bloodline spread so wide over centuries that technically even the X-Men carry fragments of his genetic code. And that creepy maniacal laugh we hear right after he says it, that's Mr. Sinister. Remember, at the end of Season 1, Jean Grey used her Phoenix powers to rip away all of Mr. Sinister's genetic modifications. So we know he's still out there, angry, stripped down, and probably planning something big. And that brings us to the visuals, because the new footage shows off a lot of updates, costume changes, and time travel madness. Season 2 picks up where Bishop and Forge left off, trying to track the X-Men across time. Both are long-time time travelers in X-Men lore, and the trailer shows them investigating what looks like Kang's base in the ancient past. Now here's where things get interesting. There were originally rumors that Kang would play a major role in Season 2. That was before Bo DeMayo, the original showrunner, was fired, and before Jonathan Majors' situation caused Marvel to pivot. So it's possibly they reworked the Kang storyline, but you can still see hints of it. Apocalypse, as it turns out, got a lot of his tech from Kang and the Celestials. His advanced armor, the pyramids, and that Sphinx ship, all of that traces back to ancient Egypt and to Kang's time-traveling tech. In fact, that Sphinx ship we see later on is literally Kang's ship, the one he used when he ruled Egypt as Pharaoh Ramatat. When Kang eventually fled back to the future, Apocalypse found his abandoned ship and claimed it as his own. So while everyone's stuck across the timeline, Apocalypse is out here building empires, past, present and future. We jump between different eras, the distant future, the ancient past, and the chaotic present. In one scene, you even see Professor X standing, which probably means he's having another one of his visions, not a physical recovery. He's likely seeing the full scope of what Apocalypse's war could do and why stopping it in the present is critical to preventing that post-apocalyptic future we glimpsed last season. Then we cut to the future, where Apocalypse has built this colossal pyramid fortress, complete with a giant, all-seeing head built into the top. It's straight out of the comics, symbolizing how he watches over every living thing on Earth. We also get a glimpse of Cyclops, Jean Grey, and their son Nathan before he becomes Cable. The comics also tie in Strife, Cable's evil clone, so it'll be interesting to see if they go that route in the show. But even in the middle of all this chaos, the trailer manages to sneak in some great humor and 90s throwbacks. Cable literally jokes about getting the X-Men back to the 90s, which is hilarious because, well, that's exactly what this revival is doing. And yes, even Lady Deathstrike apparently loves laserdiscs. The trailer shows her flipping through old discs, making fun of DVDs, another perfect 90s reference. It's worth remembering that within the series timeline, it is still the 1990s. That's why we see the classic tech, outfits and style. Marvel even calls it the 90s universe. That's how they can freely use characters like Spider-Man, Daredevil and Doctor Strange in crossovers without worrying about the MCU continuity. Next, we see Storm in her new suit complete with gloves. Wolverine strikes his iconic pose, the one from Wolverine issue number 1 by Chris Claremont and Frank Miller. And yes, Hugh Jackman's recreated that one too. He's back with his adamantium restored after Magneto ripped it out in season 1, which, while not fatal thanks to his healing factor, left him wrecked for a while. Then we get Jubilee rocking her 90s Sony Walkman, total Star-Lord vibes, though technically hers is a newer model, and Sunspot finally appears in his full suit, showing off his powers, while of course partying with Jubilee, because it wouldn't be Jubilee without a dance scene. One of the coolest power moments shows Jean Grey and Cyclops syncing up, Jean forming psychic Wolverine claws while Cyclops' optic blast reflects off them. It's pure love triangle energy and a nod to the soap opera drama that makes X-Men so fun. Kevin Feige himself once called X-Men a soap opera, and yeah, season 2 is leaning into that hard. But even amid the flirting and power combos, we're heading into darker and more cosmic territory. Nightcrawler still fighting in the distant future. Back in the present, we see Omega Red, Cable, and finally Colossus returning after being MIA during season 1. And then, one of the biggest reveals, the introduction of Danger, the sentient form of Danger Room. This comes straight from Joss Whedon's astonishing X-Men run, where the X-Men discover that their training system has gained consciousness and wants revenge. It's a wild concept. They've been training inside a prisoner this whole time. Even crazier, Professor X knew the Danger Room was alive and never told anyone. They're also teasing Emma Frost's bigger role this season, which lines up perfectly with that same comic arc. Professor X returns to the present alongside Lorna, voiced by Neve Campbell, another perfect 90s nod. Fans got confused thinking this was live action news, but nope, she's voicing the animated version. Then we see new faces, Kid Omega rocking a Phoenix logo shirt because he's destined to become a future Phoenix host. He's an Omega level telepath. Next to him is Penance, real name Monet St. Croix, in her red diamond skin form, complete with razor claws and insane psychic resistance. Later, we glimpse Archangel and Psylocke inside the mansion, classic X-Factor vibes, with Wolverine joining them just like in the comics. And then comes a jaw-dropping shot, Magneto with the Phoenix Force reflected in his eyes. The twist? It's probably not Jean Grey's Phoenix. it might actually be Kid Omega's. That's why the trailer hides who it really is, saving the reveal for the show. And just when you think it's over, Apocalypse makes one last terrifying appearance. We see Apocalypse across different timelines, ancient past, present day, and the distant dystopian future. Then the season 2 logo drops. The last shot, Wolverine, Sabretooth, Morph, and Lady Deathstrike flipping through stacks of CDs and laserdiscs. The ultimate 90s tech deep cut. The gag here is perfect. Lady Deathstrike is actually a laserdisc superfan mocking the rise of DVDs. Fun fact, some of the original X-Men cartoons and even the early Hugh Jackman movies were actually released on laserdisc. You can even spot names on the discs like Phantom X, Winter Soldier, Silver Fox, and more, though some are hard to read through the leaked footage. It's a treasure trove of Easter eggs and a reminder that X-Men 97 isn't just nostalgia, it's building an entire multi-generational legacy for these characters. There's so much to unpack here, and I seriously can't wait to see the full season. The fact that we're already getting season 3, 4, and possibly 5 just makes it even better. If you're as hyped as I am, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my latest videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.